So yesterday I turned 24, and I believe birthdays, end of the year, are great times for reflection. So I wanted to make this video because there is three main points that I want to talk about in this video, and three very important lessons, so to speak, that I feel I've learnt heavily over this year and I wanted to share with you. And so I'll start. Over the past few months, this has been the most challenging period of my life. For many years, I've embarked different challenges. We all face different challenges throughout our lives, but for sure the last few months have been by far the most challenging. Losing my mum, feeling a very much lack of purpose ever since then, lack of direction in my life, and that's kind of the most important thing. The point that I want to start with is purpose and direction. And I see many people, a lot of people from all different ages, not just young people, probably more older people who get to 30, 40, 50 years old who don't have direction and purpose in their life. They're probably working a job that is very comfortable to them, and you might be in this position yourself, and this might resonate with you, and it might, strike up some points where you think, okay, that's me, that is me, I'm in that position now. They're doing things that they don't find fulfilling and purposeful anymore, or maybe they never did in any way. But a lot of what they do is just living life kind of on autopilot. Everything is very easy. Everything is kind of done without thought or, required using your mind to think. And I think that's very important as human beings, to kind of keep that high kind of cognitive function that we are kind of challenging ourselves every day. And I think it's very important. I spoke a lot about goal setting, and I know a lot of people will mention goal setting as an important factor in your life and the direction that you want to head. And I think that we all should have different goals at different periods of our life, and I think I kind of lost that over the last few months, and understandably so. I'm not beating myself up about that whatsoever, but I now feel like I have new goals in my mind, and I want to make sure I achieve those goals. On myself, I've always been someone who, once I've kind of got something in my mind that I actually want to do inside of myself, I always go and achieve that. And that's something that I've really, built a strong foundation of inside of myself, that a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people I know personally, I've spoke to even friends and stuff, they don't do that. They'll say, I want to do this thing, I want to start this, I've got this business idea, I want to do X in the gym, I want to maybe have a relationship, I want to secure this type of job, I want to travel this place. But probably 95% of the time, all of these stuff, they're just kind of dreams, because that's all they are. They never kind of make those dreams a reality, and that's just how it is. That's just how people are. It's so much easier to talk the talk and not walk the walk, and have these things in your head that sound nice, but to just get on with it every day and do all the hard yards and stuff that takes to get to the kind of pretty end goal. It's not easy. I've been there, done that. I'm still doing that now in a lot of areas with this channel and stuff. Uploading, talking to you most days. It's not always fun. It's not always easy. I enjoy it, but a lot of the time there's a lot of things in between, that whether it's starting a YouTube channel, whether it's starting a business, whether it's starting a gym, whether it's starting to find an intimate partner, even making some decent friends, a new career, starting living in a new place, whatever it may be. I could go on and on and on. It's going to be very challenging, especially in the start, and there's going to be very much moments where you are going to feel like, maybe I go back and all of this, or I'm not sure about this. And I know, kind of going back to purpose and direction, there's a lot of things that I really want, and I've kind of said for a long time to myself, inside of me, and to people I'm close with, stuff like having complete freedom over my life. And I have a lot of freedom over my life, and that's always something that I've aspired for. I've never really, truly inside of myself aspired for the flashy diamonds, the cars, the watches, all of this stuff that a lot of people on Instagram and just social media in general tell you should want, especially young men. You see the Tates and other male influencers kind of tell you this type of thing, that's going to make you happy. But I figured that out. I've done some materialistic stuff, nothing to an extreme level, but I know that it would never really do anything for me. Owning property has always been something that has I've seen as kind of that is a product of becoming free. And that's something I've always kind of used as seen as a vessel to achieve financial freedom, achieve time, locational freedom. So that's something I very much intend on focusing down on over the next couple of years. Traveling to certain places such as Cape Town and Argentina, 2 places that I've spoke heavily of and that I've wanted to do. I've said to myself, I'm gonna do it, and I have to make sure I do it. Writing a book, I want to start, an actual physical business. I want to do stuff that, I feel like I'm actually making a difference and not just being, a YouTuber or doing stuff that's not really inside of myself going to feel like I'm making that much of a difference in the world. And yeah, actually seeing the fruits of my labor, something physical, I think is very important for us in the world where everything is very much digitalized. And I know you can have a lot of success online. And yeah, it's a very much a vessel again to building a personal brand and yeah, achieving a lot with your business. But I think having something physical has always been something that I've personally aspired for more. Having, unshakable confidence and feeling that inside of my mind, inside of my soul, inside of my body, feeling, I have that strong mind, the strong body too. That's why I got into the gym, and I think that kind of always correlates. You have a strong physique, chances are your mindset's pretty strong too. When it's getting tough in the gym, when you're down to your last few sets or repetitions, you say, I'm going to push for 12, I've got to finish for 12. You're kind of building that reputation inside of yourself that I get shit done. I tell myself I do stuff and I do it. You start that in the gym and then you see it in other areas. It kind of correlates to all different areas often. Not always, but often. The people that have pretty impressive physiques are probably doing quite well in other areas of their life. Again, it's not always the case, but often is the case. And attracting a high quality woman into my life, I think that has always been something, especially recently, that I feel would bring me a lot of fulfillment into my life and something that feels quite natural as a next step for me. But again, things take time. I'm in no rush. As I've said previously, it's important you never get needy and desperate for these things, and you have to be very happy and content with where you're at and know that you've made a lot of progress, because I definitely know that inside of myself. I want to be able to show that. I want to be able to show that on the channel. Not that I have to prove a point, but more for myself that, I've done this. I've set goals and I've done this in the past and I've achieved them, and I'm going to do that again this year, next 5-10 years. Things that I say that I want to do, I'm going to do it, and I know I'll do it because I've done it myself. I've proven to myself, and I am that person who says what he does and gets it done. And that's what more people have to be like. I just don't get it. A lot of people are like that, and again, they'll say these things and it sounds all good in your head, but if you don't back it up, and I feel that's one thing, especially with social media, that separates most people, is that 95% of people say, they're doing this thing and this is how they became successful or financially free or whatever it may be that they're trying to portray on social media, but often isn't the case. They're telling you a lie. They're trying to scam you. They just want to take your money. They buy your product or whatever it may be, capture your attention, all of this stuff, but it's probably not true whatsoever. And I'm very transparent and very open and honest, as I hope you have seen on this channel with the stuff I've said. I put myself in a very vulnerable position. It's pretty much giving my life story to you, talking to this scary black lens in front of me, which is not an easy thing to do, and even to this day is still very challenging. And when I first started, it was one of the hardest things, and one of the hardest things I'll probably ever do. And a lot of people won't do it because they live in fear. But anyway, that's my first point, is you have to have purpose and direction in your life. And if you don't have that, life becomes very challenging, and you're going to feel, I need that throughout my life. You see that as people get older, they lack purpose, and they normally end up, their life starts to deteriorate, and they start to deteriorate physically, and their life, doesn't really amount to much. You need to find those things, whatever age you are, that give you purpose, what gives you direction. It doesn't have to be, work, but maybe some type of work that feels fulfilling for you. At the end of the day, we are all just filling our time every single moment of the day, but you have to find something that feels meaningful and purposeful to you in all moments of that. My second point is progression is happening all the time. And I kind of mentioned a bit about this in my first point, that you probably don't really see it or feel it. And I've seen this in myself all the time. You don't wake up every day and feel like, you know what, I feel 1%, 2%, or even, a tiny bit better than I did the day before. But you'll look back in weeks and months, and providing you're doing the right habits, you're working towards your goals every single day, you will start to see that progress compound. And like I say, you'll look back in a month's time and you'll be like, okay, I feel like a different person than I used to be. Maybe you see that in your confidence, the way you are. Maybe you see that in the growth in your business, in your fitness, in your relationships, your mental kind of strength, a lot of different areas, whatever you're looking to level up in your life. And you're going to see that. And the best way, and as mentioned heavily, the only way you're going to kind of see big kind of progress, see yourself take big leaps, is by fucking up and getting uncomfortable with life and doing those things that you're not used to, and pushing those boundaries every single day. Especially as a young man, you have to live to your edge, as David Dida says in The Way of the Superior Man, which is one of the best books I've ever read, is you have to live to your edge and realize your potential. And I think most people will die, and probably myself included, not realizing my full potential and not kind of living a life that I could have potentially done a lot more. And I hope to live a life where I'm fairly aligned and I push myself fairly well. But how do we all really know? I'm not dying, am I? When I'm doing every single thing in my life, when things that feel very uncomfortable, especially when you think of things like physical exercise, you go into the gym. Could I push one more rep? Could I have ran an extra half a kilometre? Could I have, pushed myself to do that work for a bit longer? Could I have gone and spoken to that girl? Whatever it may be. Often we think we've reached our limit, but the chances are we probably could have gone another 20% or so. If we were truly honest and had that humility, we probably could have gone further. And a lot of, again, my progressions have happened from just fucking up. Like, I'm not going to say all the different things where I fucked up, but every single area in my life I've fucked up a lot of times, and I still continue to do so. Not so much now, because I've done it so many times. I've messed up that many times that there's only so many times you can do it before you learn your lessons. And you kind of, if you're just doing the same thing every single day and not learning that these things are not making you happy, they're not getting you to where you want to be, it's pretty much insanity, as Einstein would say. It's doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And unfortunately, a lot of people do this. But once you kind of start to realize this and be like, okay, maybe I should do something different. Maybe, again, I can push myself a bit further than I am doing in all the areas of my life, which, again, I believe nearly every single person, unless your name is someone like David Goggins, you could do this in pretty much every area of your life. And especially in the world we're living in, where people lack motivation, they lack discipline. And a lot of people obviously preach about this, but it's very true. You see it, I see it myself, I see it with nearly every single person I look at, and I know personally they lack it. And we can all go to a higher level, and I think that gives us liberation in our life, and it makes us happier and more fulfilled when we are seeing ourselves make progression, because that's what evolution has always been about, is making progression in our lives. And that's something that is very much my philosophy in life, is that it's fundamental to all of us that we grow, and that's how we should look at life, as one big journey till the day we die, really. And we should always, however old and grey and maybe even sick we get, try our best to look at all these areas of our life and think, okay, how could I get a little bit better in all of these things? And yeah, I think it's what keeps us going. If we don't have that, then what we're doing. And obviously a lot of people do get to this kind of complacency kind of trap in their life, and they just become very stagnant, and then they'll slowly start to decline because they haven't put any energy or any effort into anything in their life. And then it's very hard, because you've lost all that momentum. And one of the biggest things in life, in my opinion, is momentum, and you've lost that. And like I say, when you're very young, you have all the momentum, you have the energy to go on and really push, and you could push on in so many different areas of your life and become so accomplished in a lot of different fields, especially when it comes to your career and your skills, where a lot of people are very underskilled, young people, specifically who I'm talking to, probably yourself. We could really level up a lot of different skills and become an all-round person and offer a lot more to humanity, and we'd feel a lot better about ourselves too. But maybe that's just me. Maybe you think the same too. But yeah, progression is happening all the time in our life, and yeah, remember that when you feel the days where maybe, okay, I'm not seeing the results straight away. You always will, and that's what life should be about. We should be wanting to make progression every day in our lives. And my final thing that I've really learnt this so far this year, and yeah, since my last birthday, I guess you could say, is if you don't ask, you don't get. And this is something my mum would say to me a lot, is, you know, if you don't ask, you don't get in life. And it's probably a very British saying, and you could think of this in lots of different areas in your life. And this could go for, you know, job opportunities, relationships, deals, just day-to-day life. If you don't ask someone for something, chances are you're never going to get it. People aren't going to turn up at your door and be like, you know what, here it is. Here's your dream job. Here's a sack full of money. Here's your dream wife. All of this stuff, it's not really going to happen. It's almost definitely not going to happen to you. And you have to put yourself out there. And as someone who is very shy and introverted, this is very challenging for me, and something I especially learned when it comes to approaching women. Something that I've always battled with through insecurities of my own is going to put myself out there. But you have to do it, and I've proven to myself I've done that when I didn't want to do it, and the only way I've got better, again going back to my second point, is just fucking up and knowing, you know, the first 3, 5, 10, maybe even 20 times I do this, it's going to go pretty bad because I'm not experienced, and that's what it all comes down to. And until I do this, until I level up the skill, until I'm kind of flexing this muscle, this mental muscle of doing it, you know, I'm not going to become better. You see the pickup artists who do it for a living, they're amazing at it because they do it every single day. It's like someone who's a professional footballer, athlete, all of this stuff. They are the top tier because they practice and practice every single day. I'm not saying, you know, you need to go approach women every single day, or you need to do blah, 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 and you don't have to do it, you know, constant, but you are going to get a lot better every single thing if you just put that kind of muscle, practice it every single day. But that's kind of, you know, a separate point. You have to ask for a lot of things in your life, and yeah, you have to be cheeky. You have to put in offers. Maybe, you know, it's for a house, it's for an opportunity, a job that you think, okay, maybe that's not for me because, you know, that they think, you know, I'm not experienced enough. I'm not, that's too much money for me to be earning. I couldn't, you know, travel. I couldn't live in a different country. A lot of these times are limiting beliefs. And unfortunately, a lot of people in all ages have limiting beliefs. I think actually people who get past the 30s and 40s think, you know what, I'm not going to, you know, change my career path. I'm not going to jump ship. I'm not going to go to a different country because X, Y, Z, you know, family, money, commitments, all of this. Understandably so, of course. But a lot of the time it is limiting beliefs. And when you kind of break those down, you realise, okay, maybe that could be me. And I've seen this in a lot of different things that I thought, you know what, I couldn't do that. But I completely changed my mindset and be like, yeah, it could be me. It really could be me. And like I say, you have to put yourself out there, get what you want, and until you do that, until you get uncomfortable with being, get comfortable with being uncomfortable in your life, in all the areas of life, you're probably not going to achieve what you want, and you'll feel also a lot better when you do these things and even get rejected. You know, it's a lot better to be rejected than end up regretting things in life, and that's one of the biggest things that people go and die with. That they regret not doing whatever it is, regret, you know, not spending more time with their family, regret, you know, working too much, regret, you know, not being just happy in their lives and being grateful for things because they're like, okay, well, yeah, maybe I should have just, you know, lived a life that was truer to myself, that would have bring me a lot more fulfillment. And yeah, I don't want you to live that life. I don't want you to be on your deathbed and thinking, okay, you know, I could have done this, I should have done this, I should have done that. And I speak to people I've mentioned before who are a bit older than me, and you're like, you know, you've got a great mindset, and I kind of wish I kind of thought like that when I was in my 20s, but it is what it is. You have an opportunity, and hopefully you're watching this video at a decent age, and even if you feel a bit older, now's your time. The time is now. Time's going to go by anyway, and it's up to you what you do with it. So yeah, I hope this has helped you. I hope these 3 points, purpose and direction, number 1, progression is happening in your life all the time. And if you don't ask in life, you will not get. And they're my lessons turning 24. It's been, a big year for me. Emotional one, that's for sure. And yeah, let's hope it can be I don't want to say better year, but hopefully it can be a bit more of a smoother year, and I can work towards my goals, achieve the things that I said that I want to achieve, and show you on this channel that, yeah, I am that person. I hope to see that in yourself too. If you need any more guidance on how to achieve that, how to find any of these kind of purpose, if you're lacking purpose and direction in your life, or anything else you're struggling with mentally, physically, I'm your guy. My one-to-one personal coaching link will be in the description. If you could like and subscribe, that would be much appreciated. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.